guys up with a Madden Mobile 16 video today. And right now, as you can see, I'm not in Madden, so what I'm going to show you guys is how to make your own custom Madden cards. Now this video will be in segments because my video recorder somehow does not do too much good of recording long-wise. So every time it stops, I'll try to resume, and sorry if it kind of cuts out the wrong time, but I'm going to try to make the best of it. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into this video. First of all, you need an app called Eraser, which is on the Google Play Store. It's Background Eraser, and it should have a logo looking just like that, which usually in most photo editing app means it's transparent. You need Photoshop Touch and PixArt, Fontso, or something like that. I'm just going to use PixArt for this, but Fontso is highly more recommended since you can actually pick the color straight from the image instead of trying to guesstimate. So anyway, first thing you want to do is you want to go into the Google search, and what you want to do, and since I searched for him, Joe Montana vector. And what the vector means is that it has an image, but it's a transparent background. And here's a couple of some posts. And here is a Pinterest post by RetroDan16. I'll make sure to put that in the description to show you guys that is actually the person who made it. So I'm going to go ahead and tag that guy since I'm not going to plagiarize or anything. So I already downloaded it for you guys. So what you want to do in this background eraser app, it makes it really simple. Instead of trying to erase all of that white stuff around him, you can take the auto feature, and it says thresholds of similar colors. So this will take the amount of pixels or whatever it is around it and take them out. So now it takes out all these crazy little things. On here looks like I have a little outline. We can easily erase that. Let's go ahead and go through here and erase that, since there's that line there. Then what you're going to do is click done, and then save, and then finish. Now that will be popping up in our gallery shortly. So anyway, now let's go on to step 2, the template, and assembling it all together in Photoshop. Photoshop Touch. So now I can go ahead and show you the actual cards I tried to make. Now here is a couple cards from the past, as you can get a good idea. I did O.J. Simpson, Golden Ticket Landry, Jacoby Jones, Prince Edition. As you can see, there is no text on these edits. Like in this one, my Laramie Tunsil Dolphins card, it does not have any text. That will come in later, because Photoshop Touch cannot import custom fonts. So you need a custom font to make the most legit cards. So anyway, what you want to do is, I got this one from Madden Mobile HawksNest. Anyway, let's go and scroll down, and let's go to the, I want to find out where it is. Alright, there it is, Template Mobile. It should be in your downloads or wherever you have it, and it'll show a blank image. So now what you want to do is press this button over here, and then press the plus button. And then this is where you add whatever you need to. For this one, I'm just going to go and add a flashback. Wait. Yeah, let's do a flashback golden ticket, Joe Montana. So now what you want to do is you want to have lock aspect ratio on some of these, especially when you add the player. But on this one, I don't think it would be necessary because we actually have to stretch it out to make it the appropriate size, if you know what I mean. Then we could tweak it as we go, and it would be really cool in the end. So now we got that. Now what I'm not doing in this is a disclaimer, is I'm going with my own self. I'm not like comparing it to another card side by side. If you have another phone and you see it, and you have the actual card you want to compare it to, just go ahead and do that, because it probably will be a lot easier. So now what you want to do with this is, probably since it's a golden ticket, you might want to change the color of it. So I believe that's here, replace color. And now with the amounts of gray, I believe, or you can use this color picker and actually go into the image and find it. So I'm going to make all of this a yellow color, so it'll match. And then the amount, just leave it at that, and then kind of turn it up a little bit more. As you can see, when it gets about here, go and press the check mark button. The threshold kind of makes it spread out more. So now what you want to do is do the same thing for the other part, except make it a bit more, I don't know, a little bit lighter or darker. It depends on your choice. So now we're going to go and replace the color once again on this. And I wonder why that is there. Okay, that's weird. Alright, that should, okay, that went away, that's good. So go ahead and do the thing I was doing earlier, except this time, I'm going all over the place. Anyway, but this time, you want to go on the outside, and try to pick the color that's most common, as you can see. And on this one, it seems like the most common color. Make sure you click that little thing right here, and hold on to it as you go. So, probably pick this color. So now, as you can see, it basically lights up the whole entire template. But the amount, you want to keep it at a decent level. I'm not sure why it's all that much. Seems like a long amount. It's kind of strange because that usually never happens. It kind of just doesn't usually do this. It kind of, I'm not sure how to say it, but it just doesn't do it often. It's probably because I was actually on the yellow portion, but let's go ahead and click this area and then replace it with a orange. There we go. Now it should pop up a little bit. Okay. The amount we're going to set to 100. Never mind. We don't need 100%. I got a better idea. Instead of doing that, all you have to do is take the selection mode option. And all you got to do is kind of pinpoint it from here to all the way down there. Alright, that's good. So now what you can actually do is change the color of that specific portion of the card. As you can see, we can now actually make it more orange. So this is the perfect card right here. And you can use that selection tool to your advantage. And then you can go and tap off of it. And there is our orange card. I can fix up the cropping later. But now all we got to do is add a couple more things. And we are probably good for this golden ticket. So now you want to go to your photo library and get that Joe Montana vector. So that will be in my eraser folder, which is the app created eraser. And there he is right here. Now on this one, make sure lock aspect ratio is on. You can tell when it's on because right now it looks like a free chain, but when it has linked change, that means that the aspect ratio is on. So now what you want to do is, ooh, I messed up on the vector part. That's not good. That's not good at all. But anyway, for the sake of this video, let's just go ahead and add him and not go back to it. Make sure you double check, because as you can see, it's a little bit transparent on parts of his body. As you can see, his leg, his arm, and his thigh are obviously cut out. But for the sake of this video, let's go ahead and keep it in there. Now, what you want to do is, whenever you put him in here, make sure you take off snap so you can actually move him more freely. So we can put him right about here. Seems like, alright. So now what you want to do is try to make it so it don't look like you just put the guy in there. So that seems good enough to multiply. Now we gotta do is add the golden ticket logo, which is also available by MMHawksNest. So now go to your downloads, wherever you are. Where are you? Okay, there you are. So now we go past all the crazy photos of my girlfriend, and now we finally find this. And make sure the lock aspect ratio is on this as well. So you want to make it about this size, about the default it goes in. So just make it in the top right. Make sure it don't go over the border, or else it'll kind of look unrealistic. Kind of just shove it up there a little. Make it a bit big though. Like this would be good. There we go. We got it. We got it. Now all you gotta do is click done and save. But before you exit and think, oh, I got it all done, now I can go to the next step. After you do that, you want to click this button down here. It looks like a box with an arrow pointing out. And click save to gallery. And tap it and make sure you save it as a JPEG because it's more high quality. A PNG looks I'm not sure if it looks worse, but most of my computer teachers say that it looks worse quality. So anyway guys, that is part 2. Now part 3 is coming up with the finale. Alright guys, now we are for the finale of this. Now Fonto, I believe it is an app where you can actually make a better font off of this, but for the sake of this video, as I always say, I'm just going to go ahead and go with this. And this is how to do the Pixar version. If you want to do the other version, you can actually make it a ton better, but on this one, that wouldn't be necessary. So I know there's a little bit of issues with the orange background, how it kind of goes over the border, but let's just not worry about that for now. Honestly, it's a really good card by itself. So what I'm going to first do is the overall. Now on this one, you want to look at it and make sure these are all white, and then make this little outline kind of just make it completely black. And then if you don't have the imported fonts already, I'll show you how to do that in just a sec. So now what you want to do is kind of look at it and zoom in and kind of place it, size it around a little bit and say, is this a card? If I saw this in Madden, would this look legit? Now on this one, of course, it's way too big, so you want to resize it down, reposition it a little bit. This one might take the most, but that seems like a pretty good position for it, even though it might be a little bit too small. But let's go and move my logo up. Alright, now make sure you have everything in all caps besides the first and last name. So same thing for the QB. You want to choose a font like this. Make sure it goes underneath and make it a bit smaller. If you have 2 letters in your overall, make sure you start the first letter and halfway through. Like right now, like right here in the first letter, kind of start it up like that and make it a bit smaller. And then zoom out and say, okay, if this was a card in Madden, would this look like a pretty good card? And then if you need to adjust and redo things, you can do that. It doesn't matter. If you make mistakes, don't be afraid to go fix them, because that mistake might be fatal. Now in this part, you might want to watch out for, because this is the first name and the elites have first names in red. So pick a red name, make it light but not too light, not like a salmon color or more of a deep red, but just kind of go in between. Make sure both of them are kind of that color, because it doesn't do a solid color, it goes more of a gradient. And then do the black outline again, and then go like this. Now compare it to that, and then if you want to make changes you can, but I think that is pretty good for now, even though it looks a little bit crazy. But now we can put it in here. Now make sure it don't take up too much space for this for the last name to go in there. So make it about around there. There's a pretty good card. I wish I would have did better on the cropping, but I'll probably crop it out in Photoshop before I post it on Instagram, because that's a really good card. That's probably the best card I've made all year. Now on this one, you can just leave it white with a black outline, just like the overall. Now this one, since it does have a matching character like the O and Joe the O and Joe and the O in Montana, you can actually kind of resize that, and then kind of lower down the opacity so you can kind of compare the size to make sure it's exact same. So one isn't, the first name isn't bigger than the last name, if you know what I mean. And then kind of turn the opacity back up and try to match the beginning of the J, the beginning with the M, leave it a little space. And remember what I said about size and stuff like that. So now I'm going to go ahead and put Montana, not the exact same size, but a little bit smaller. That's kind of odd because I think I messed up on the Joe part. So let's go ahead and do the Joe part one last time. Sorry if this is taking a little bit long. I've seen people do this for crazy amounts of years. Like that. And then press the gradient down. There we go. And then make sure this isn't really big. It doesn't take up half the space. Like about this much will be just fine for the card. So then there we go. Joe, the comeback kid, Montana. So now we're going to go ahead and add the last name again so we can re-emphasize, and that's what I said. Make sure if you make a mistake, don't be afraid to go fix it, because it might be the craziest mistake ever. And you don't have to turn your opacity down. You can just, but make sure you zoom out and say, is this legit in Madden? That looks pretty legit to me, even though it's a little bit off for my eyes. And then what we're going to do is click this download button, and then click OK. And just make sure you read what folder it goes to. This one's going to a PixArt folder in my internal storage. So now after that, since Photoshop Touch does have a better cropping method, let's go ahead and go back to that and crop this out real quick. Now I want to show you some cards in the past, and I'll show you mistakes I've made. Well, okay, I'm going to go ahead and show you some mistakes right now. On Jarvis Landry, and this, it's decent, but I mean the card kind of needs a little work. As you can see, the transparency still pops up right here because this was a vector image. And on Adrian Peterson, make sure nothing touches the red bottom. And as you can see, even though it's a good glow to him, as you can see down at the bottom, it glows onto the red where the name goes and everything, so you don't want that. And on the Jacoby Jones one, it did really good since it's a Purple Rain edition. But just to show a personal card of mine, a punter card I was doing, one day I was punting, I made the first name a little bit too dark. Make sure you don't make it too dark. Most people, I've heard a YouTuber say this, I forget what name it is, I can't give him credit, sorry about that. I will, if it's in the description, I'll probably give credit to people. But you make sure you match it up with these 4 squares over here. The color of one of those squares. They're all the same color, so you don't have to worry about picking a different color. But just make sure you match it up with one of those squares, because then you have the perfect one. That's why Fontso is a pretty good option for this, not PixArt. But PixArt can work too. So now, so I can shut up about this and actually get this on, let's go ahead and crop that out a little bit better. So now we can actually, I'm just going to go ahead and take out that border anyway, even though it's a crucial part of the, there we go. Okay, so now it should look pretty decent. There we go. So now I can click done and save. And oh wait, that wasn't even the, I'm such an idiot. That wasn't even the one with the actual text in it. Sorry about that, guys. I'm such a goof tonight. I'm such a goof. Let's just go ahead and crop that out for a second. Yeah, I think that's Instagram worthy. Even though the words are a little bit too big, it doesn't matter. I give it a nice background like the Ultimate Legend or something for the Joe Montana background. There we go. So now I can actually click done and save. And that is about it, guys. That is how to make a Madden Mobile 16 custom card. As you can see, the result, I'm going to go ahead and move my logo as best I can. There we go. Go and zoom out. There's our glorious Joe Montana 99 overall golden ticket. Now on these, on the golden tickets, you can actually differ, because some maybe if you notice, like Tony Romo, Johnny Manziel, or something like that, has the orange flashback logo in the back, or you can have like any kind of thing you want. The golden ticket, you can be creative on, or you can be creative on any card. Like the one I did with Laramie Tunsil, I'll find it here for a second. I did like a gold gradient, and then I changed the color of this to blue and this to orange for the Dolphins. And since I couldn't find any vectors for the Miami Dolphins, you don't have to look up vectors. You can just do the method as I did with having, like, if you have a completely white background and none of the logo is white, you should be good. But the Joe Montana, as I was saying earlier, actually had a little bit of transparency in it, which is pretty unfortunate. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or concerns, please leave them in the description, or DM me on my Instagram, which will also be in the description below. See you guys later. Hope you loved the tutorial. Peace.